Hi everyone. We're going to go ahead and start off with what is the problem that I was trying to solve in education. So what I saw is the lack of engagement across all subject areas, particularly in math where it's more difficult to keep track of the work that they're doing. So my goal was to solve this problem using some type of technology. Some solutions that I thought of at the beginning of this semester was either a website to reduce the engagement, maybe potential Scratch lessons involving all subject areas, or even creating Adobe Illustrator designs to post around my classroom to promote that engagement while they are working on different technology tools. So what I decided to do was I decided to design a website for engagement. It was an all-in-one spot for my students. They didn't have to go to any other application to complete their work. It provided the extra support for what we were learning in the classroom that it's fun to work on. And it was easy navigation and access to all websites involved. So my homepage is in the red and white colors of my school district. You can see that I have each subject listed out and an accordion with what to do and how to do it. So starting off with what to do, students will be finding new activities on each page, and then listed below they have a little bit of section with parent communication with homework. In my how to do it section, the directions are stated, and it's just the expectation is set for the Nearpods where you're using your own name. And you can see that that is my homework chart where parents can come in and look at it and see what is expected for homework that night, and then emailing me with any questions. Starting off with ELA, you can see that the home tab is purple, so that way the students know that they've already hit that page. I decided to do a Nearpod on author's purpose. It is embedded into this website. They're not using nicknames, and they're able to complete the lesson on a skill that we are learning in class. So once they click on the Nearpod and get started, they'll see this, and then they'll be able to engage in reading a PDF and answering questions about it. And then I am able to track their work based on the reports that I'm seeing to gauge their understanding overall with the skill that we're working with. Moving on to math. I decided to try out SumDog with my students. So I have them playing as a guest and then rating their experience as they play this game. I think this was the best way for me to decide if they would enjoy it, and they're able to have a little insight into their own learning. When you get to SumDog signing in as a guest, you'll click the math game and it will get you started with some warm-up items to gauge where you are as a learner. Once that's situated, it will target specific games that you can play based on what you need. So in this case, I needed subtraction to 100. So it was giving me a game with that, and I could stack things. Once you're done playing the games, the students are to rate the game. So they are typing their names and telling us whether or not they liked it, why they like it or not, if they want to play it again, and then their favorite parts and their least favorite parts. So I really wanted to involve them in their learning choice as well. Moving on to the science page, I did decide to incorporate some Scratch elements into this. So they would be creating their own replica of the Sharks and Minnows Studio based off of the code that I give at the bottom of the page and the preview that they're able to look at on the start of the page. So here's that preview. You can see that the minnow is moving. The minnow is moving based on the space bar, and then once it reaches the end, the game is over, and the students are able to copy this code and create their own project and then upload it to the Scratch Studio. So you can see that this is the code that they will be using. This is on the website under the example. And once they're done copying this code, the whole goal is for them to upload it to the shared studio for our class. That way, different students can comment on what worked and what didn't work. Maybe they had issues and they can revert back to an example posted in the studio. For social studies, my final page, we're working with Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. So this is a geographical game using Google Earth, and based on different clues, they're supposed to go to different landmarks to try and catch Carmen Sandiego. So a fun review of the landmarks that we've learned in class. It starts off by giving different prompts on how your assignment is going to look. The crown jewels are stolen, and we're starting off in London to gather those clues. So it's really setting the scene for the kids and creating that hook into the content that they'll be working with. So once they get into the activity, you can see that it gives a quick fact about London, and then they click on the magnifying glass to choose a certain location that they're going to interview people at to see where they need to go for the next clue. So once they click on the certain location, there is an eyewitness that gives information about what's going on, and then they can use the clue to help them find Carmen Sandiego. So overall, the goal of this website was to create engagement across all subjects. It was to have something new that could be easily adapted based on the lesson of the week. And it was supposed to be a center for communication for families, giving them a one-stop shop for information. So there are some things that I would change about this project. I think I definitely would add a bigger communication section with like a questions box for families to fill out. So something like this, they're able to just type a quick question and send it out rather than sending me a formal email. It's a little less intimidating when they type it this way. I also think that I would need some additional CSS designs to make the website look more professional. So I was going for something like this, and obviously I did not quite get there. So I'm eager to try out some new trainings and some new websites that can help me work on gaining better understanding of CSS. I think overall, my reflections, did I solve the problem, and was HTML and CSS effective? So I think I did solve the problem. My students will be engaged in this, and they will be gathering all the necessary tools for each lesson, and I think that working more with HTML, CSS is my goal to finish. Thank you.